Chapter 3, Lesson 1, Basic Syntax. Building iPhone apps requires basic knowledge of the programming language Objective-C. In this tutorial, we're going to show you the basic syntax of Objective-C. Learning a programming language is like learning a second language, except in this case, you're learning a language that the computer can understand. Right now, you're only watching part of this series. The full course includes many more lessons, including how to monetize and submit apps to the App Store. Click the link in the description now to check out the full, unabridged course and to create a fantastic source of passive income. Now let's get back to the lesson. I'm going to open Xcode and navigate to get a new project. For this, I'm going to use single view application. Once I've filled in the basic details for my project, I'm going to go to the viewcontroller.m file that Xcode has generated for us. The first thing I want you to notice in this viewcontroller.m file is the Viewdidload statement on line 17. Notice directly after load, there is a curly bracket, and then a few lines down, there's an end curly bracket. In Objective-C, all brackets or parentheses must be closed by another bracket. So if we have one that opens, we have one that must close it. The end curly bracket of the Viewdidload statement effectively ends the method there. Anything outside of it is not considered in the Viewdidload method. In between the curly brackets of Viewdidload, I'm going to type nslog, open parenthesis, at quotes, this is a log entry, end quote, end parenthesis, semicolon. Let's take a look at this line of code that I just wrote. Using nslog will print something in the bottom log when this app is run. Now, in this case, what it will print is this is a log entry. Now, notice the parentheses, they both open and close, and whatever is in between those parentheses is what nslog will print. Now, almost always, this is going to be a string. A string is depicted by the at quotes. Anything between at quote and whatever ends the quote is considered a string. In this case, our string is this is a log entry. At the end of this line of code is a semicolon. Let's see what happens if we don't add a semicolon to another line of code. Notice that we now have a red line and this line of code I just wrote. I wonder why. It's because we didn't add a semicolon. Now, a semicolon is used to denote the end of a line in Objective-C. Almost all lines of code in Objective-C require a semicolon. A semicolon is like a period to the end of a sentence in the English language. If you don't have a semicolon, it doesn't know where the line of code stops. So essentially, semicolons are used to end lines. nslog is what we'll be using to demonstrate a lot of lessons in this series. We're going to use it to print certain functions to show things work. nslog is useful because our end user, the user that uses the app once we've created and released it, will never see nslog. It's purely for developer support. Typing // will essentially void that line. Anything after the // in that line of code will become green and will be overlooked by the compiler. This is called a comment. Now, a comment is useful for writing some standard English or any language text inside of a piece of code. Because it will be overlooked, you can write anything you want in there and you won't get errors. Trying to write standard text inside of a piece of code without a comment will result in an error. Simply, Objective-C, the language, can't understand what you're trying to write. It doesn't understand English. Using // will simply void that line of code and only that line of code. If we want to avoid multiple lines of code, what we can do is type /*. This will void as many lines of code as you want until you type */. Simply put, /* will open a comment and */ will end a comment. It's a multi-line comment. Of course, there's more syntax to cover, but this is the basic syntax we'll need to know to learn most of the other syntax that will be coming in future lessons. Remember, this course releases new lessons every Wednesday and Thursday of every week. Subscribe now to not miss them.